वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग स्टूडेंट्स। लास्ट क्लास में हम लोगों ने देखा था कैपेसिटर के बारे में पढ़ा था। एंड इस क्लास में हम लोग देखेंगे कि कैपेसिटेंस को हम किस किस कॉम्बिनेशन में कनेक्ट कर पाते हैं। जो 10th क्लास में आप लोगों ने पहले से पढ़ा हुआ है कि रेजिस्टेंसेस को हम सीरीज़ या पैरेलल में कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं। तो द सेम वे वी कैन ऑल्सो कनेक्ट द कैपेसिटर्स इनटू सीरीज़ एंड पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन। So now let's move with the series combination. Students, as you all know, a capacitor will look like this, a symbol which we use to represent in an electrical circuit of capacitance like this. Sorry. Students, you can see there are two plates on which equal and opposite charges are getting accumulated. That's why the charges density are there, but in equal and opposite nature. And the C1 is the capacitance of this first capacitor. The same way I have taken the C2 capacitor, but as you can see here, this is connected in series. So in series, so one end of the capacitor is connected to the other end of the capacitor, and the rest two ends of the capacitor are disjoint. It means they are not connected. Now just have a look. Suppose if I'll provide the constant potential across these two capacitors connected in series through a battery. So I have connected a V volt battery across this combination. So as you all know, what battery will see there is a total capacitance, and accordingly it will release the set of charges or the moving charges, which we also call as current. Okay, so the current which will pass through C1, same current will pass through C2, right? And here you can see, so we are talking about charges, because we know the flow of charges are called current. So I can also say like this: suppose total charge Q get released from the battery and will pass through C1, and the same number of charge will pass through capacitor C2. So I can say in series combination, Q is same, means charge is same in series circuit. Now student, just have a look here for capacitor C1. You can see if I measure the potential difference across the C1, let's say we have got V1, and across C2 we have got the potential difference V2. Now we know the relation for any capacitor, charge by potential difference across it is a fixed ratio, which is equals to C1 itself. So I can say C1 equals to Q by V1, and C2 equals to Q by and C2 equals to Q by V2. So if I solve it, I can get the value of V1 from the both. You can say V1 equals to Q by C1 and V2 equals to Q by C2. So why we are doing this? Because the potential V, I have constant potential I have applied across the setup. So, and we found that individual voltage across the capacitors are V1 and V2. So if I'll add V1 and V2, we will get the total potential across the capacitor, which is nothing but the same potential we have applied through the battery. Now just have a look below. For total capacitance, let's say the total capacitance of this circuit is C equivalent. Okay, so suppose we have battery V and total charge Q, which is passing through the total capacitor, and we have total capacitance C equivalent. So the same way I can write it like this: C equivalent equals to Q by V, where V equals to Q by C equivalent. Now I will put these value in this equation, because we know the potential difference across the setup is equals to the individual potential differences across the capacitors. So if I put the value that I have obtained earlier, you can see here the charge is common, so it will cancel out, and the equivalent capacitance we will get through this formula. So you can see that 1 upon C equivalent equals to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2. So if suppose there would be n capacitors in series, so we will have such formulas, and this structure is exactly opposite to the series combination that we see in the case of resistances. Instead, this structure matches like the parallel combination that we used to connect in the electrical circuit of resistances. Alright student, I hope मुझे लग रहा है कि आपको ये चीज़ समझ में आ गई होगी. Now let's move to the capacitors combination in parallel. Now you will see the capacitor, when we connect the capacitors in parallel combination, okay, you will see the both ends of capacitors are connected to each other. Alright, now we are going to apply a constant potential through a battery V across the terminals, which you can see here, but in parallel the voltage remains same. So it means the V volt applied through the battery into the parallel combination of capacitors, then voltage across the C1 capacitor will be same as voltage across the C2 capacitor, which will be same as the voltage given by the battery. So students, let's have a look on the C1 capacitor. We can get the value of C1 is Q1 by V, Why it is so? Because here you can see the charge is coming out of the battery, the total charge is q, but just because of the parallel circuit, the current or charge got the two path through which they can complete their circuit. So the charges or current will get divided, and some of the part of charge will go through C1 and other part will go through C2. Okay, so that's why we can also say that this total q equals to q1 plus q2. So that's why we are obtaining the value of q1 and q2. From here you can see the relation. Through C1, q1 charges is passing and potential through this C1 capacitor is V. So we can get the q1 equals to C1V. Similarly, we have obtained the q2 charge which are getting stored in C2 capacitor. And now let's say, because what batteries will see, battery will feel like there is only one capacitance, that is the total capacitance. So for battery we can get C equivalent equals to q by V. So here the total charge we can write it as C equivalent into V. So as I told you that q equals to q1 plus q2, you can put the value of all these three quantities, then you will get the equivalent or total capacitance equals to C1 plus C2. So likewise we can connect n capacitors in total in parallel. Okay, so their total capacitance will look like this: C1 plus C2 plus C3 and up to n capacitance. Okay, now students, I hope you got this. Now let's move to the different topic, which is the last one. Okay, so the topic is what is the energy stored in a capacitor? Because I have told you before that in an electrical circuit, three components are very essential. Okay, first is resistor, second is capacitor, and third is inductor. Inductor you have not studied, resistances you are aware about it, and capacitors we are studying right now. Now just have a look here. And I also told you that out of the three, only resistor is the part which dissipates energy in the form of heat. Okay, and capacitor and inductor are the energy storing element. Okay, so what happened in capacitor? So that's what we are going to do. We are going to find the energy stored by the capacitor. So let's consider a case where you can see a capacitor plate, you can see, and the equivalent opposite charges are getting accumulated over the plates of the capacitor, and consequently you can see there is a potential difference V, capital V, between the plates. And you can see the direction of electric field here. It will be from positive plate to negative plate. Now we are considering, let's take a small positive charge. Okay, and positive electric field will apply a force on this positive charge and will repel it to the negative plate. But suppose we want to move this positive charge against the field, right? So what work we have to done? Okay, so in other words, we have to move this charge against the potential. Okay, and just have a look here. You have already studied what was the potential difference. It is the work done over the charge. Okay, from here you can find the work done will be the potential difference into the charge. So if the charge is very small, then definitely very small energy will be invested to bring this charge or move this charge against the electric field. Okay, so here to bring this small charge against the electric field, we have to apply a little work done. So this little work done will be, because the potential between the plate is V and we are moving the dq charge, very small charge, so very small energy will come out. So it will be V into dq. Now if I'll ask you what is the total energy, if I need to find the total energy, we need to integrate this term. Okay, so I'm integrating this term, then we'll get the total work done or total energy to move this charge from one plate to other. All right, and we will integrate it over the limit from zero charge to total charge. So you can see integration of V dq. But we know the V is dependent on Q here, and you can see on the right side in the bracket that C equals to Q by V. So here V equals to Q by C, and you can see V is dependent on the charge. Okay, so I put the value of V in the integration, so you will get the integration like this. Now let's move forward, where you can see the Q, where capacitance is a constant, because we know the ratio of charge upon voltage is a constant, which is equals to the capacitance. Alright, now let's move forward, and now we will integrate and we will take constant outside of the integration, and we will integrate this from the limit 0 to total charge. And if you don't know the integration formula for algebraic expression, I have shown you in the last class while teaching you physics, the integration of x to the power n dx equals to x to the power n plus 1 upon n plus 1. Okay, so you all know this formula, so I'm considering you all know the integration. So you can integrate it like this, and your answer will come up like this: 1 by c into q square by 2 from limit 0 to q. And if you apply the limits, you will get this formula, q square by 2c. So generally, as we are applying force against the electric field, so this energy we invested will get stored in the form of potential energy. So that's why I have equated it to capital U. So alright students, so it means we can say that energy stored by the capacitor means capacitor stored charges or energy in the form of potential energy. Okay. Alright students, so if you put the value equals to Q into CV in the above formula, you can get these three formulas. Okay, so your energy stored by the capacitor in the form of potential energy is Q square by 2C, or you can also say it will be half CV square, or you can also say half Q into V. Now let's come to the one more topic, that is energy density. Student, energy density is a very small topic, so you have to understand it. Energy stored by the capacitor per unit volume. It means throughout the volume of the capacitor, how much energy is getting stored. Okay, so that is called the energy density. So from the statement we can get a formula, that is U equals means potential energy means energy stored by capacitor divided by volume is nothing but energy density. All right, so let's find it. You know, the energy stored by the capacitor is half Q square by C, but Q you already know. As you already know, see on the right side, surface charge density. Okay, charge density equals to charge per unit area. From this you can get is charge equals to sigma into A. So just put this value in place of Q, so it will be this expression. Okay, now again you have to put the value of capacitance. Okay, if you put the value of capacitance, you can say it will be A epsilon by D. See on the right side, you can put this value in place of C, and everything will some quantities will cancel out and you will get this formula. So just stop here, and we have to put the value of sigma into something. So we already know about it. Electric field for any uniformly charged surface is sigma upon epsilon naught, which you have studied in the first chapter. So from this we can get it is sigma equals to epsilon into electric field. So put this value in this quantity and you will get such things. Okay, you will get this. But here, what is A into D? A into D is the volume of capacitor. Just have a look on the right side. You can see the cross sections of plate and the distance between the plate. If you multiply A into D, it will become the volume of capacitor. Okay, so on the left side you see the energy stored by the capacitor. So just bring that A into D just below the potential energy, and you will get U upon volume, matlab energy stored by volume. It will be equals to half epsilon naught E square. So this will be your energy density, students. I hope this all will be understood by you. So video is little bit long, so please bear with me, and if you want, if you have any doubt in any topic, you can ask me personally. Okay student, thank you so much. That's all for today.